Good morning, afternoon, or evening. My name is Ryan Jung. I will be presenting on behalf of Elaine Yang and Brent Moyle on the topic of cultivating professional identity through interactive oral assessments. So, very quickly, interactive orals, as opposed to the standard oral presentation, which is just one-way traffic, is where students present and then we have a chance for two-way dialogue, right? So there's a Q&A sessions. This is also known, perhaps, the process as viva or viva voce. It is quite common in postgraduate studies in things like PhD thesis defense. But there is growing recognition of its importance at undergraduate level as well. 2, building student professional identity. And professional identity here is the self that has been developed with a commitment to perform competently and legitimately in the context of the profession. And its development can continue over the course of individuals' careers. When interactive orals has been used in past research to look at improving or increasing employability, there is growing recognition that building students or graduates' professional identity is as important, specifically in the medical field, where they have found that professional identity is often lacking in non-practicum courses, like ours in the service industry, perhaps. So the rationale behind the study here is this intersection of concepts using interactive orals as a vehicle for improving or facilitating critical reflection, which is a key component to building graduates' professional identity. This leads us to our 2 research questions. Number 1, how do interactive orals encourage students to engage in reflective processes? And number 2, how critical are these reflective processes in the formation of their professional identity? So in terms of the process, this actually took place across a 12-week course. This was at undergraduate level where students, the course was based around tourism futures, and the objective was to build tourism post-COVID, but also supplementing this interactive oral process was reflective journaling. So across the 12 weeks, we constantly asked students reflexive questions where we took macro concepts and forced them to put it on themselves at a micro level. So scenario planning their own futures, for example. The actual interactive oral was their final assessment and it was online. So they had 5 minutes to present and then 5 minutes Q&A. The questions marking criteria were also around our PLO, which was establishing student professional identity. Analysis for this particular study was the 90 recorded videos, which of course were the interactive orals, and they also submitted their reflective journals, which we used for triangulation. In terms of preliminary analysis and results so far, several themes showed up. So there was very high engagement in reflective processes, especially in terms of career planning was the first theme. So they had critical reflection upon how would the course material apply to their own futures. Concepts such as scenario planning and destination management were key tools which they had to use through the course, and they thought about how they would help them in terms of career planning. And next, goal relevance, which, as this student says, is not very common in courses. They thought about how does the learning and the course material actually helping them in their career. And for question 2, the reflection did build professional identity. So students like this reflected upon his career development. And through this process, found out that relying on tourism skills was not enough and they wanted to learn more. So this person actually reached out after the course finished for references to do his master's in graphic design or something like that. And then students like this took away from the course that they were committed to making ethical choices along the way. So building regardless of what industry he ended up in. The concept of double loop learning actually facilitated a lot of this and was a key part of the syllabus, getting them to critically question the assumptions, why they do what they do, or why the tourism system does what it does. And we have transposed this into our preliminary concept model, so getting students again to think beyond the surface and start to question some of their assumptions, belief, values, and motives, and in that process building their professional identity, leading to relevance to goals, whether the course and whatever process they're doing is helping them reach their goals of being employed, I suppose, and then forward thinking the results, which is being employed.